And I'm live. Welcome back, guys. It is that time. There is one thing to say, and that is unbeaten no more. United go 2 games, scoring 5 goals against the best 2 in the land, and yet still have so far to go. Let's be honest. It feels like a dream, and we have to stay grounded. But is this the United we all know? Big team, big result. What about the lesser teams? Have we changed? Only the next game will tell. But let's all remember one thing, and it's the most important thing. The Glazers still need to go for us to move on. And with that, we will get started on today's show. There's Danny Boy straight in. Evening, sir. Evening. This should be a good one. I'm feeling that we're going to have quite a lot of engagement. That's 2 wins on the bounce. But let's get straight off with just talking about the game. What a game. What a game. Evening, Bilal. Evening, yes, great result. Excellent. 3-2. I think I called it 2-1 in the preview. I could see us sort of nicking a goal. But Glinios out. Yeah, exactly. But yes, hang on. What is going on with my camera? Now, bear with me 2 seconds. Right at the start of the show is what you need, isn't it? There we go. Always have a backup. It seems to be going up. It does seem to be going up, Bilal, but, you know, I must be doing something right, as they say. But you know what I give you? I'm going to give you just good, honest takes. There's going to be a few of them in this. You know, Arsenal scored, let's be fair, one potentially should have been disallowed goal for 2 different reasons. Ball to a player's face, and then the goalkeeper got bummed out the way and by the player who taps it in. And the first one, well, we'll come back to that, but there's been a lot of talk about Paul Scholes, Nicky Butt and Martinez, and I've been saying it since it happened. Some players have got to learn to keep their mouth shut because round the corner is one big mistake. Yeah, the irony right there. The irony right there. Issues with United's lens. I don't know. Did it go like I was misted out? It's as if it's picking something up in the background and blurring me out instead of blurring the background up. I think I'm going to have to check the software. Yes, so let's start with the game. It was a big game going in. Carrick playing it down as expected, you know, because what can you say? You can't really go in with fighting talk against the league leaders. You know, we played them not off the park, but we played them close to going either way at the first game of the season. But we know it's Arsenal. We always push them hard. We always push them right up until the wire. And we normally get, in the last few games, we've been robbed. I remember the goal that wasn't a goal from Garnacho. Yes, I have just said his name. It's a bit like Voldemort. But do you remember the offside? He was flagged offside, and it must have been the last kick of the game. And they went down the other end and scored. So it always seems to happen against Arsenal for us. This time, it seems to have gone the other way. Half expecting Dorgu's goal to be ruled out by VAR because we all know the refs hate us. Not that he could have put his hand anywhere but inside of his pocket if he had them. I don't know where to start. I looked at a lot of the stats. I thought, well, it's got to be the same starting lineup. You would have seen that in the preview. But, you know, I felt for Cunha. I definitely felt for Sesko because both of them were giving good performances. Sesko was on a scoring run. Cunha was obviously came on, should have had 2 assists. We all saw the Mount, you know, off by a fingertip, but it was offside. So, yeah, that's that's how we sort of were led into this game. We'll come back to that one, Dan. Yeah, we will definitely come back to that one. So yeah, let's get into the game. Started and like first 10 minutes, I was in the group chat and I was like, oh shit, they're all over us. Whatever we did, I thought the managers got it wrong. I thought, God, we're pinging the ball long and they're just winning the headers, but they were also winning the second balls, coming straight back up at us for like the first 5, 10, 15 minutes. We really couldn't get hold of the ball, but nor could Arsenal. They were winning it, but doing nothing with it. We knew they would try and get it wide to Saka, because whenever Saka's on the pitch, you know, he'll try and get 1v1. Dorgu and Shaw locked him up. You know, I think he had 1 or 2 crosses into the box. Even when in the second half, when they put Saka on the other side, he barely touched the ball. I thought our defensive structure was superb, absolutely superb today. And it was the same structure, funny enough, against Man City. So it will be funny going forward if that stays. We had a little bit of luck. The Lemon save very early on. I think it's about 10 minutes in. Tips it over the bar from point blank from Supermendy's header. Anyway, if I'm kidding you, we've all been there. You go up. If he doesn't head it like plumb on the forehead, if it comes off the side of the head, either side, that's a goal. Keeper doesn't save it because it just deflects off of the straight to directly above him. Either side, he's not getting his hand up. We were lucky, proper lucky there. But you know, that's sort of one of those things that gave me hope for the day. Then obviously they score, and it was probably one of the softest goals you'll see this season. Both players miss the ball with their attempted kicking foot. Hits Leach on his standing foot heel and deflects underneath the keeper who can't react quick enough. The ball was just a nothing ball, half clipped into the box over 5 yards with enough pace in it. I thought it was going straight through the keeper's arms. But I'm going to be super critical here, and a lot of United fans won't like it, but I'm going to use their own criticism of our striker. Last season, we complained constantly Rasmus Højlund's fighting too much with their centre-back. And the reason this went in was Martinez had his hands all over. So was it Saliba? I'm pretty sure. Was it Saliba or was it the other one? Either centre back, whoever it was, hands all over him. And instead of releasing, turning and facing the ball, he's got his back turned, has to flick out his left foot. Bear in mind, he is left-footed. Misses the ball. Oh, was it Timber? It was Timber. I thought it was. Timber misses the ball with his right because he wasn't expecting it to even get to him. Goes under both their feet, hits his heel and goes in. But I didn't think Martinez necessarily had a good game today. He gave away free kicks when Gyökeres came on, fighting with the centre-back. Had his hand across his face. I thought he was lucky that he didn't potentially get sent off as well for a punch to the face on Jesus. Now, a lot of people might have seen the one on the back of the head, but he actually catches him where he pushes him to the floor. He actually catches him in the face with the hand underneath, hits him here, and then digs him in the back of the head to knock him down afterwards. So I don't know what VAR are looking at. It might have looked worse in slow motion, but it wasn't great. Wonder why Timber wasn't given the return. So Timber didn't touch it. That's why Timber didn't actually touch it. If you look very, very carefully, comes off of Martinez's standing foot, off of his heel and clips in. So they both actually missed the ball. It was that poor because they were both fighting. That's why I'm saying it's bad defending, because at no point can you not be facing the ball. That is just a given for a centre-back of any level, let alone the Premier League. If you've got hold of the player like this, hands on shoulders, and the ball's coming in, the ball's over to your side. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And that's why he sort of had his shoulder as the player's trying to kick it. He's obviously going to turn your body ever so slightly, and he flicks a foot at it, but he's off balance. So, and therefore making the player off balance in timber, and it just hits the foot and goes in. But when you're gonna, I'm trying to word this so this is fair. I don't want to be the next Paul Scholes or Nicky Butt. You're only as good as your last game. So when you've had a great game against Haaland with some questionable grappling with him as well, if you look back, if the player then decides to play that exact same way, aggressive, hands-on, but a referee sees it different, you're in for trouble. So it's not a good way to play football anyway. But if you're going to fight with a player and they know that you're going to fight with them, all they want to do is keep arm's distance. So if there is any shirt pulling or anything like that, it's almost like with Martinez, you want to talk about eye gouging, pinching. He seems like proper old school centre back. But if you're going to go in, you clap back at two absolute legends of the club who are also twice your age. Let's just remember that Scholes and Butt are both 51 or 51. I'm pretty sure they're 51 now. I know Butt's just had his birthday, so Scholes is right there as well. And what's Martinez? 28. So we'll say double the age. Let's not beat around the bush. And you're going to call him out, say, come around my house and basically we'll have a chat. He ain't saying we'll have a chat, is he? He's saying, well, if you're going to criticise it, come say it to my face. Well, so far they're proving their criticism right, because Burnley couldn't turn quick enough, conceded the equaliser, curled into the far top corner. The next game after that, Brighton game, Danny Welbeck ran rings around him. How old's Danny Welbeck? 30, 34, 35, 36? Feels like he's been around an eternity, right? Then you've got Haaland. Right, you've had a great game against a striker who was getting no service. They never played the ball into him. So you were winning duels on the halfway line, but you didn't really shut him out anywhere else. It's not like you're beating him in the hair, smashing him with tackles. You won duels. And then you go on to play against Arsenal. One ball hits you, and there was some questionable challenges, shall we say. But a bit like Dalot, on the VAR or another ref, could have had another decision. So, exactly. I see it the same way. So, I don't want to sound like there is only one Roy Keane, right? But go out, do your job, keep your mouth shut, and see where you're at the end of the season. I'm hoping he's learned his lesson now, because you can already see that it's going to be something doubling up. I put it out from the overlap on my socials and everything about what Scholes tried to admit, and he said the same thing. It's one game. How many good games has he had recently since back from his injury? He's done okay, but he's not been an outstanding. It's not like he's going up the other end, scoring from set pieces and keeping them out at the other end, like a Saliba, like oh God, who is Saliba's partner? He's basically Maguire and Martinez are not Rio and Vidic. They're not doing it at both ends. Yeah. So he's just got to get his head down and keep going. Otherwise, he will lose his thing. The rumour I saw about Mickey van der Ven, like, I'm going to ask you in the chat, come back in the comments afterwards, right? You can clip this up. I would take Mickey van der Ven over Leacher, and I love Leacher. But I know Van der Ven's going to give me power, pace, aerial ability. He's going to tick every box. But what do you guys say in the chat? Come back to me with your answers, yeah? What's this? Bournemouth game, I think he made a mistake too. No. What? He came on, didn't he? But let's be fair, I think that was the one where Semenyo may have got his goal. Yeah, that's a possibility at left back, but there are better left backs out there as well. So we'll have to see about that. Gabriel, yeah. I keep thinking Gabriel Martinelli, obviously the left winger. So I stopped saying it. So when I say Martinez, I think Martinelli, and I'm getting confused. Like you got Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, and Gabriel. So it's very very confusing when they're not your players. Yeah, Van Heck's an option as well. But do you see what I mean? Like, you've got to make yourself indispensable to a club like Manchester United. Okay, we're not exactly transfer gurus in the market at the moment with everyone coming to us. But Jesus Christ, if Carrick keeps going the way he is and we're in the Champions League, then there's a lot more potential for bigger and better signings. So, yeah, that's it. See, Bilal, you see it as well. There's just people everywhere, you know. I remember when Gabriel was 1 in a million and they got 3 in one team. So that's their first goal. Like I say, for me, it was just all-round mistake, but it epitomises the golden rule. Put the ball in the box and something could happen. Whether you score or someone puts it in their own net. It's something we've been calling for the other half of the season for us and the end of last season under Amarin. Put the bloody ball in the box. Get in the box. Make the defenders have to make a decision. And sometimes we get the wrong one and it goes in the goal. So we went up the other end. And who else but Mr. Brian Mbemo? Like, he's so deceptive. Like, he's small. He doesn't look like he's a natural sprinter. And I just look at him and I just think, talk about one way to stop me mid sentence. Yeah, Gabriel, the singer. Yeah, the old patch on the eye. Yeah, exactly. That was what I mean. It was not very well known. It was either that or the only other time you heard Gabriel was Gabriel, and it was at school when you were doing religious studies. Unless you were at a Catholic school and then you're hearing it every day. But yeah, no, Brian Mbeumo, it's him again. We were lucky as anything. Like, I'm not even going to put it down to the press. The press was half-assed. But what I will say, and this is the God's honest truth, and I wouldn't have done it if I was through on goal, if I was in. When the ball was picked up from the horrendous attempted back pass where he bobbles it, and when Brian sort of gets one-on-one with the keeper, just before he shifts the ball, there was a clear and obvious pass into Bruno's feet for a tap-in, right? And I'm thinking, I'm not passing it. Fake it, jink to the right, pass it in. But then when you see the defenders slide across, I'm like, oh shit, keeper's got his fingertips to it. The defender's coming. I'm thinking this is going to get blocked. And if it got blocked, it's either over the bar or no, like it wasn't going to go to Bruno. But he slides it straight through that gap beautifully. And you saw Bruno sort of looking at him like, thank fuck that went in. Because the keeper had even gambled that it was an obvious pass. It was just a simple layoff to the left and it's a tap-in. So I think that's one reason that he actually beats the keeper. The keeper shifted his weight down to his right and obviously takes it round to the left. But again, high press, getting on the man for man. We saw it against Man City. We had 2 go around the keeper. Obviously, they were both offsides. But it's obviously one of the changes he's done in the press. Much higher press, a much more consistent press, which is basically just the triggers of the centre-backs. Get on the centre-backs, one go past, shut off the keeper, and make them play out to the full-back and try and make them go long. But yeah, ball goes in, second, and I was like, we're in. I just felt, I don't know why, the equaliser, I felt it turned the entire game. It's always big to make sure if someone's going to make a compromise in the way they play, that you capitalise on it. So with my under 18s, there's quite a lot. Often the manager will tell them to have a shot if the keeper's off his line, because it will then force the keeper to go back. So if you keep pressing, because we scored from that, you'll notice they made a lot less passes back towards the goalkeeper than what they were doing in the first 20 minutes. So that sort of changed their game plan, and it helped us progress up the pitch a bit more. Rice was and Supermendy still able to come and get the ball and just sort of turn out into the half space, but it just meant that we knew where it was going to go. We knew that we shut off all the passing lanes and to pick up the second or third runners for the next ball. So half time comes, and again at half time, I'm thinking, well, they're going to have to change, i.e. Arsenal. Same as Man City, because the way we were playing and pressing, it wasn't working for them. What did he give it? About 10 minutes? 4 changes? And I'll tell you what, as a player on the pitch, you see them making 4 changes. You've got 2 choices in your mindset. You either go, oh shit, they're fresh legs, and you worry, or you go, lads, keep doing what you're doing, because it's obviously working. They're having to bring on 4 new players because these guys have been so shit against us. You've got to change it up. And that's always important. And it seems like Michael Carrick's gone with the second option in the players' mindset now, compared to what was in the mindset under Amrin, where it is, lads, we're doing great. Let's not change anything. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing forward. And obviously we did. And we managed to get the absolute screamer from Dorgu. What can we say about that? How can I put it? Bruno, Dorgu, Bruno, Dorgu, Bruno, Dorgu, handball, Dorgu, top corner. Job done. Absolutely superb. And that Colombian, Brazilian, or whatever, he's going to have another viral clip, isn't he? Because as soon as we pop that together, just another, again, just little 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. I thought he was going to lose the goal. I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game. My other half, she was like, I think it's handball. And we looked, and it's like, well, he can't be given as handball. His hand is against his leg, where he's trying to get it behind his arse, like out of the way. And the whole thing, if you imagine it's on his leg, it's curved. It's flat to his body. And I was like, there's no way they're giving that as handball, because it's the most natural position for his arm to be, and as close to his body as it possibly was. And then it happened, guys. It actually happened. VAR went, goal. And I was in shock. I thought Tony Yeboah had been reborn, because what a strike. Outside of the left, bending away, top corner. I saw the post-match comments that even I was going to say Arsene Wenger, Mikel Arteta turned around and went, there was only one place he can put it, and he put it there, with the way the defenders were on him. And by God, what a hit. This guy is on an absolute run of form. And I straight away, I was like, shit, Brian Mbeumo, Dorgu last week, Brian Mbeumo, Dorgu this week. It's 2-1. We've done it. We're off. Game over. I thought that was it. I thought the game was done. And then obviously Dorgu went down with the hammy, whether that was the celebration or what, but it wasn't too long afterwards. But that kid is running his arse off. It was probably jinxed. I saw some comments saying he might be the fittest player in the Premier League for the distance he's covering and everything like that. And it's just intensity. Everything he does is as fast as he can. He's a bit of a Duracell bunny. But yeah, obviously he went down. Sesko came on. So we ended up within 5 minutes, Cunha and Sesko on the pitch, which, straight away we had to have a big shake-up. And it wasn't, was Sesko on the pitch 10 seconds before Arsenal managed to get an equaliser. And this equaliser proper pissed me off, really pissed me off. And it's not going to be for the reason you think, guys. So you're going to have to listen to this one. We saw Bruno plays the ball, smashes Benjamin Sesko in the face, and everyone's going, Oh, it's ball to the face. He should have, should have stopped the game. The corner shouldn't have happened. He should have stopped the game. Head injury. No. What happened was, when you see a head injury, what does every player pretty much 99 times out of 100 do when the ball smashes them in the face? You can tell me in the comments. You can come back. You can clip this up. They go to the ground and they roll around like an absolute pansy holding their face. Oh, I'm dead. Oh. The guy took it from point blank range, almost broke his nose, I reckon, on a cold night with if those balls are actually at below zero. And he stayed on his bloody feet. So because he stayed on his feet, the ref played on because he didn't go down. He probably went, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And you could see he was groggy in that. So obviously they counter, they get the corner. And okay, so he didn't give it. And you're thinking, oh God, like it's a corner. The one thing we don't want to do is give Arsenal any hope, any set pieces, because at the end of the day, there's us and there's Arsenal. And when they have chucked on those 4 players with all the extra height, you've got to keep the ball out of the box. So we went back in, and Sesko was still sort of not with it. And you could see Maguire and that sort of telling him where to go, who to pick up. And ball comes in. What happens. First off, the goal's given, and you could see it was over the line before it was cleared off the line. And I saw why. It was a bit of a bobble, and shit happens. It went over. But when I see where Sesko was behind the line instead of on the line, if he was 1 yard further forward, he clears it off the line. It's because he's behind the line that the ball gets to behind the line before he hits it with his foot to clear it. So I get that. But again, when the ball went out of play, he should have gone down and got treatment. So that's on Sesko again. And that's a lack of experience. Okay, I'm going to put that down too. So remember that. If the ball hits you, you have to go down. Because we now play in a world where if you don't go to the floor, the ref's not really going to blow. Okay, so that means Casemiro probably should have had a penalty the other week against City, but because he didn't go to the ground when he tried to chip the keeper, it wasn't given, and he actually did get clipped. And I thought it was a stonewall penalty. Myself, when playing, was once told by a referee that if you don't go down, I'm not going to give the penalty, even though my shirt's been tried to be pulled off my shirt, off my back, because I haven't thrown myself to the floor. He's not giving the penalty. But, the world of a foul is a foul is gone because of VAR. So let's talk about how they scored. Lemens has been superb. I thought he commanded his box really well. But what they were doing, like more and more, was boxing him in. But if you see Moreno, when Lemens comes to go for the punch, he backs into him with his ass. So me and my mates, we call it the Beyonce butt, where you just sort of bang, twerk into the back of them, a bit of hip action, just enough to turn the player, and they might miss the ball. But you see the contact, you see him back in, and because he backed in, he misses the punch and it drops straight off of the hand, straight down to Moreno's feet, and he gets the shot off. So when that was looked at by VAR, I don't see how they didn't see the contact on the goalkeeper when he's in the air to turn him to enable to get the ball. And for me, that should have been ruled out. But all I've ever seen this season, well, actually probably for the last 3 seasons, as Arsenal got better and better with their set pieces, is more and more consistent fouls in the box, not blown. Blocks, holding, things like this. Ben White used to be great. He used to grab hold of the goalkeeper's hand and hold it down by the sides, just while the keeper's still trying to move, and just let go before the corner's taken, enough to put him off. All these little things. There we go. I thought it was a foul. What, for the same reasons, or as in you saw the player clip him, or was it how they were boxing him in? On that one, Danny, let me know. So the goal was given, and I'm thinking, that's it, game over. Everyone's going to shut up shop. We saw Arsenal do it against City. We've seen Arsenal do it against Liverpool. Sometimes they get to the point where they just don't want to attack, and that they'll take the point, as in we'll get out of here with something, and not run the risk of losing. Bear in mind, I think they were on 24 game winning streak at home or something like that. Not anymore, but they, sometimes as a footballer you want to protect your records, because apparently records mean more than points on the board these days. I'd rather have goals, assists, stats, records. It's better than winning a trophy. And that's just my opinion of the mentality of a modern day footballer. Yeah, I think so as well. I do agree with that. But yeah. So again, we've gone down, and I'm thinking our mindset late on in the game all season. We've dropped points where we're from a winning position, where we've ended up with a draw. I can think of like the very early on games where Amrin was getting draws, and we were conceding like the 80 to 90 minutes, like late on equalisers, and we couldn't come back from it. The body dropped, the shoulders were down like this, the head's down. Whereas, I'm going to have to say the words, guys. I'm going to have to say it. The United DNA is shoulders back, chest out, Eric Cantona, chin up. Right, we go again. 0-0. Get back up there. We score the next goal. We're winning this game. And yeah, sorry. Oh, mentioned Cantona. It's come straight back to my chest. That's what he does for me. It's one of those things where in football you've got do or die moments, and that's what this felt like. We'd got to a do or die moment, and this time they showed up. But I always feel, as I said at the beginning of the game, beginning of the program, sorry, and at the beginning of the game, we always show up for the big games. We always keep fighting to the last moment against the Cities, the Arsenals, the Liverpools. It's everyone else. So yeah, I'll put this on the screen while we go talk it, but we didn't. We continued. We played the same football. It still was very direct, but I felt in the second half we were picking up the second balls. They obviously have brought the height on and changed their shape slightly to fit everyone onto the pitch. Ball's gone in. I think it was Mainu who sort of tried to chest it down, and then Bruno, and it just pops into Cunha's feet. 2 touches out the feet into the gap, and what a strike, guys! I've put in the thing 2 worldies, but Dorgu, I thought, well, we ain't going to get better than that probably this season. But that hit from Cunha he's absolutely rinsed the paint off of it. It's just flying. It's Roberto Carlos-esque kind of curl on it. It was set well outside of the post. The keeper's got no chance. He's backpedaling, so he's never going to be able to make the dive across anyway. But he's gone so far around the goalkeeper. I think it went outside the ground, came back in with a hot dog, and went in the bottom corner. It was superb. Absolutely superb. And we've seen him try this many a time. He does love a bender, because obviously his first goal for the club, he bent one in the far corner. He just loves that little touch out of his feet. He can adjust very quickly and absolutely wrap it in. But that was next level kind of bend. I don't know in his head if he's there with the big old PlayStation controller, R1, fucking finesse shot, bang, top corner. It was worthy of winning any game goal. Can't get my words out talking about it. That goal was worthy of winning any game in any era. Do you know what I mean? How many have we seen like that, where you walk away going, oh my God, like, it just going. I was jumping. Even my mum has texted me, my mum's fiance is an Arsenal fan, and straight I got was, we can hear you from here, and she's about 5, 6, 7 miles away from me. So you just knew I was going to be screaming the place down. And I'm pretty sure all of you were, come on, let me know. Did anyone have drinks gone flying, dinner on their lap? If were you at the game? Were you at the game? It's one of those where you punch the person in front of you, hugging the person everywhere. It was an absolute unstoppable drive. So, yeah, that's it. And it's been coming. This one, it's as if he hit it harder and it got more whip on it, Danny. That's what it felt like to me. Um, and then that leads to the celebration. And do not let Cunha go surfing. I'm telling you now. I think that's what he was trying to do for the celebration, but otherwise it's that or the worst Elvis impression. But I'm taking it. I'm taking it all day long. We knew there was no VAR. It was like they're going to try and look for something. They're going to try and deny it, but the ball's popped out to him. He's knocked it out his feet. It's clean. No one around him. Nothing to try and deny this. We'd won it. And at that point, I was like, oh, God, it's going to be like 10 minutes added on time. We just need to get through this. And then the unspeakable happened. The unspeakable happened. Michael Carrick changed to a back five to see out the game. And I was just like, oh my God, he's actually done it. Right, cool. Absolutely. Who doesn't chuck on an extra centre back? We didn't have a centre back, so Mazraoui came back on the pitch. And there you go. Straight in. See it out. I don't think we had any. Do we have any scares? No, I think a few balls came in a box and they had a couple of corners and Lamens just cleared them out. And I love that because although he got knocked for that goal for the second, it didn't stop his confidence. He went, no, my ball, bang, that one's away, bang, that one's away. And we saw the game out. Job done. Let's get out of there. 3 points off the pitch. Stop Arsenal's unbeaten run. It is something we love to do. If you look at recent history, teams have been on really big runs and we stopped them. But we are the team that beat the unbeatables, and now we're stopping whatever their home record was. I don't care. The only record I see at the Emirates now is they're one game beaten. It don't matter how many games unbeaten they were before. It's one game beaten. It's Manchester United. It's 3 points. We're in the top four. Arsenal are dropping like a stone at the moment. They have got a tough game against Leeds coming up with the way Leeds are playing. And if Man City win and Arsenal have been rocked and even if they get a draw or a loss, and I tell you what, the title race will be back on big time and Villa will be in it with them. So we're going into full. We're fighting with Liverpool and Chelsea. And Aston Villa, City and Arsenal are very close to be fighting it out for that title. Who knows? If we keep going, maybe we'll be in with a shout, but we're certainly in top 5 talking now and on merit, but we need to move on to the next game. So, yeah, the game itself, absolutely superb. I think man of the match for me was, well, I've heard 2. One gave it to Dorgu. I think the fans on the United app gave it to Dorgu. I think the Sky Sports gave it to Bruno Fernandes, which surprised me. I don't think he had that good a game. I thought he had a very, very poor first half. He shanked 2 shots wide, was giving the ball away left, right and centre. So he only had a good 45 minutes. And I don't think that's enough to win it. But I would have said man of the match today, probably, in my opinion, was Patrick Dorgu. What he's done since November is he's really turned it around. Amarin said he was lacking confidence and all he needed to do was believe in himself. And by God, he started believing in himself, hasn't he? He got his first goal and now he can't stop scoring. Back-to-back games. I think, he got 3 in the last 4, 3 in the last 5. And, he's never going to score a better one than that. after today. It's one of those ones where you walk off the pitch, hang up your boots, retire, and never to be seen again. What we got here? See, we could actually say the keeper, because I don't think he made any real mistakes. He was definitely up there, solid 7 out of 10. Looking back at, we got a result against West Ham, Everton, Wolves. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. If you look back at the points we've dropped this season from winning positions or, results like the Everton, losing to Everton, for fuck's sake, when they had 10 men, we would be in second place. And with the results we now had, we could even potentially be top of the league. But don't forget, every bad result we had helped other teams out. So the league might not look as it was. I know it's very hard to believe, but Everton, West Ham, Wolves, look at their results after playing us. They've all got better. They've given them confidence, and that's changed the league up as well. So you can't look backwards at what could have been. We can only look forward to the next match, in my opinion. Dorgu, Maguire, Lamens were fantastic. I did think at one point, I did say at home, Maguire started running down the right wing, and I thought, here we go, Harry Dino's back. He absolutely shanked the cross in this time. Shows it was a one-off when he pulled that one out in the Europa League. But yeah, he had a good game. I thought Luke Shaw had a good game. Dallo was very quiet. He's still making some stupid mistakes. I do think now, if Mazraoui came back on, then potentially Mazraoui could be in line to be called back up. But I said it at the end of the City game. I've said it in my preview, and I'll say it now. You don't change a winning team. So right now, Cunha's going to be thinking, how the fuck do I get in this team? Dorgu's scoring and Mbeumo's scoring. Yeah, Cunha may have scored coming off the bench, but the other two have scored before him, and they're the two positions I put him in. Or you put him in a 10 where Bruno's playing, so not much chance there. And then you got, obviously, Sesko. I feel for him. I feel this is the right thing for him to be leaving him out, not playing him every game. I feel there's an option against the right kind of defence to have two up top. So when they drop into a low block, we got two strikers going in, and I think Mbeumo and Sesko will work well. It's a bit like an Ivan Toney and Mbeumo, or Visa and Mbeumo, the tall player for flick-ons, and Mbeumo running off him. So that could work in the next couple of games if he wants to do it. But yeah, I'm going to go with Dorgu man of the match. Please come back in the comments afterwards and give me your man of the match and the reason why. I really do like seeing people's reasons why, because it makes me think, did they see something I didn't? We all play different positions, so sometimes we see different things in different players. So yeah, but what does this mean for the club now? Going forward, like, I feel today, well, the last two results, this is going to change this up big time. This is something that I need to say. I just need to get it off my chest. We play Man City, we win. We play unreal football. As fans, we worry about going into the next game. We turn up at the Emirates. We play just as well. We work just as hard. We get another win. Now, this is the biggest dream that the Glazers and Ineos could have wished for after sacking Amarin. Okay? We haven't spent any money in the transfer market. We're winning games. We're up there in the top 4 now after today's win. We, as fans, need to remember, and we need to keep preaching this till the cows come home. We need the Glazers gone. I feel we need Ineos out to progress. This is more luck than judgment by them that we're getting these wins. This is more on the players and Carrick and got nothing to do with the club. Okay? So I just want to say that before we go into the next bit, because I feel it's very important. Because I want to talk about where we go from this with the next couple of games. Okay. So I just wanted to say that. I know it's a little bit strong, but if you disagree with me, I can't see why you would. But if you disagree with me, please tell me why. But if I was in any form of management, we need something. We need something at all times coming into the club, and whether that be players, positivity. Jesus Christ, just bring back the 3 meals. Without positivity in this club, we're always going to struggle, and it's always on an ex-pro of the club or the players to bring that positivity. It's not coming from above. So we're seeing a lot of talk at the moment. I'm seeing names, but I really want to come into the club because of the Casemiro thing. We're losing Casemiro's 300k off of the books. But what people do need to realise, we're also gaining 25% back on the wage bill next year. Because if we are back in Europe, now let me change that. When we are back in Europe, 25% is going to come back. Adidas, we're going to get money back from Adidas. Yes. We're going to get a training kit sponsor for our European stuff. Hopefully Nokia, I think it's Nokia, the Norwegian guy that wants to give us 500 million into the club. And they've already said no currently. So get your heads around that. You've got that to come back in. But at the same time, the players' wages are going to go back up as well because they took a pay cut. So you might lose Casemiro's 300k, but it's still already going to go straight back on the wage bill because we're in Europe. And a lot of people don't talk about this. They're going, let's talk about getting Walton in. Let's talk about getting Anderson in. Any other names you want to shout out? Because I have got a list like this long of players I'd love to see come in with reasons why. Imagine Spinazzola as our new left back from Napoli, the Italian left back, absolutely rapid, hasn't got his full pace back after his ACL injury, but he's come back. He's playing out of his skin for Napoli. He's top of my list as a left wing back or a left. As a right back, we've got Mazraoui. He's not going to last as long. Dalot needs to go. There's a lot of top right backs out there. People keep linking us. You've got to stop looking at your PSGs, your Real Madrids, people like that. Jesus, should we try and get Trent? Is that what you want to do? Just because he's at Real Madrid? It's not going to happen. And then you just go midfield, and everyone's got their favourites. I've got Hulman from Sporting. I've got Walton, Anderson, Edison. There's a lot of uns. I just realised in my head. But, that's 4 midfielders. But Kobe Mainoo's now back in the question. And we're not playing Bruno there. So are we now back to only needing a holding midfielder, not a double pivot and 2 midfielders? I feel we still need an absolute beast up front in a goal scorer. And I have no names for that person right now. Mateta, maybe. Thiago, Brentford. Wouldn't be a bad shout, would it? The season he's had. Bring him in. But we need to spend money, and we need to do it in the next week. Because in the summer, World Cup, biggest World Cup ever, we're not going to get those people in. And plus their prices, anyone who plays in the World Cup, their prices are going to go up. And if you're not playing in the World Cup, okay, there are amazing players who have never played in top flight football. George Best, Ryan Giggs, they never got to play at the top for their countries. So there are players out there, but let's be honest, nowadays it's a little bit different than there really isn't. But we've always said if it's a 100 million player in January, he's 150 potentially if he's in a World Cup lineup. And you can't get him till by the time he's played the World Cup, England win it, goes to the final, we'll say end of July, then goes on holiday with his family for his rest time because he's had no time away. August, maybe he's back with you a week, 2 weeks before pre-season ends and the season starts. So it's one of those. You've got to do your business early. So yeah, it's really important that we now focus on the next game and keep this pressure on the team to perform. Every game now, and it's an old cliche, every game's a cup final, but it's so true. When you only have one game a week, you have no excuses to lose. You can't say, oh, it's because we played midweek. Man City and Arsenal played midweek. We've beaten them. They've got a partial excuse, tiredness. And we had a week to prepare. So they straight away, oh, we had a game midweek. They had extra time on the training to prepare. We need to go out. I want to say the next game is a huge game, but it's not. It's a huge game for two reasons, and I believe this is still going ahead. I haven't seen anything else from the 1958. But the next game is obviously the home game against Fulham, 2 o'clock kickoff next Sunday. There is a big protest before. If you haven't seen it, over on my TikTok, I've got the the post from it's 2 pages, but from 1958, why and how they want to get Ineos out. With basically, it's the equivalent to a vote of no confidence, if you're not aware. Written to the Manchester City Council and everything, but basically they're taking money out of Manchester and not bringing it back in, which we all know to be true. Very hard to prove. So the only thing we can do is show up in force, show up sensibly, no flares, no stuff like that. Just bring your banners, bring your voice. Don't bring young children because you feel it's something, because these things can go wrong. I grew up in Brighton and I was at all the protests as a 15-year-old kid for the Goldstone ground getting sold from underneath the club. So I know damn well what it's all about. You know, I was there, but I would have been in balaclava in this day and age there, because I was actually with the youth team at the time, and I probably, if I'd had my photo taken, I'd been in serious trouble. In social media, this is going to go viral all over the world. So be there. Don't have young kids there, because it can come up at school and it can affect stuff like that. Be sensible as a parent. Be sensible as a fan. But be loud. If they say boycott the game, it means boycott the game. If that means, oh, but I spent 100 quid on a ticket. What's 100 quid on the ticket? Would you pay £100 towards getting the Glazers out, Ineos out? If it would make a difference, I think we'd all give it. So we've got to make sure we do that next Sunday, but we've got to do it in the right way, and that's the most important thing. Friendly, peaceful protests like the rest, but we need bigger numbers. So be there, have your phones, live stream it, do everything you can do, get it global. Why we're doing it, the right reasons we're doing it. Okay, so that's sort of covering off the Glazers and why we've got to be careful about these results, and that we don't let the media spin that it's going to come. We all know it's going to come starting tomorrow morning. Well, it's probably starting tonight. Okay, we need to just keep a level head and go for it from there. But yes, let's finish on a positive. Let's finish an absolute positive. Roy Keane beats Vieira. Van Nistelrooy has the last laugh against the Arsenal defence. We won't just say it's Nigel Winterburn, but today Bruno Fernandes plays the whole game. Odegaard yanked off. Okay, no unbeaten run at the Emirates. Have we done it again? Is this the start of Arsenal absolutely bottling the league? All we know is that we scored 3 goals. That's 5 goals in 2 games under Michael Carrick. We had 2 disallowed goals as well, so we'd call that 7. Two off the woodwork. Literally, this is the attacking football we want to see. This is Manchester United's DNA. If you score 1, we score 3. We go forward, we attack, and we're there for every kick, every touch, and we're calling for every ball. So, like this show tonight, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Be here for every preview, review, and I've got some upcoming midweek shows that people might be interested in. So watch the community space. We'll leave it as that, but we are now 2 unbeaten under Michael Carrick, and we're in the top 4. So I will see you on the next show, and we'll still be going for that Champions League. I will catch you all later, guys, on United Lens.